Months after the events of the previous film, the Hefferleys go to the crowded local pool, where they run into Lenwood Heat, a former delinquent who has since reformed after attending Spag Union, a military school that begins at the 8th grade. Frank notes that Greg is about to enter 8th grade and considers signing him up. Greg's summer gets off to a rock. Start. After learning that Greg spent his entire first day playing video games, Frank disables the family's television set. Meanwhile, Susan starts a book club for Greg and his friends, but forces them to read classics. Susan urges Frank to spend more time with Greg. Frank takes him to go fishing and to a Civil War reenactment, but Greg constantly messes up to Frank's frustration. A few weeks later, Rolly invites Greg to the local country club. Initially reluctant, Greg decides to continue joining Rolly as a guest after learning that his crush, Holly Hills, teaches tennis there. Frank surprises Greg with an unpaid summer internship at his office, hoping that he and Greg can bond. Disliking the idea, Greg lies about getting a job at the country club, to his parents' delight. The family later gets a dog, which Manny names Sweetie, and Greg's parents give him a starter cell phone, a Ladybug, which only allows him to call home on 911. Rolly invites Greg on a family trip to a rented beach house near the boardwalk, and the two go on a ride called the Cranium Shaker that Roderick suggested. Greg becomes increasingly uneasy with the Jeffersons' eccentric lifestyle and secretly uses Rolly's father Robert's computer to email Susan to get himself out of the trip. The Jeffersons confront Greg after he accidentally sent the email to everyone on Robert's contact list. Greg desperate. Eli tries to call home using his Ladybug phone, but inadvertently calls the police. The Jeffersons resolve things with the cops and angrily send Greg home. A few days later, Rolly informs Greg he's no longer allowed to invite him to the country club, but Greg sneaks in by impersonating club members. After Roderick learns that his crush, Holly's sister Heather Hills, is also a member, he asks Greg to help him sneak in as well. Greg reconciles with Rolly and gets Loaded Dipper a gig for Heather's Sweet 16, to Roderick's delight. One morning at the country club, Robert confronts Frank and Gray over Greg's purchase of $260 worth of smoothies. Frank mentions that Greg has a job at the country club, but the manager denies this. Learning the truth of Greg's deception, Frank confesses his disappointment with his son. Shortly after, Roderick reveals to Greg that a Spag Union disc has been mailed to them, to the latter's horror. Roderick urges Greg to go on the wilderness weekend outing with his school classmate to impress Frank. During the trip, Fregley tells a scary story about a muddy hand. After mistaking Frank's hand for the muddy hand and hitting it with a mallet, Greg admits his guilt over constantly messing up. The next day, after overhearing Frank's boss Stan Warren insult Frank over his lack of camping skills, Greg sets a trap with his friends and sneaks into Warren's tent, where he learns that their troop has been cheating by using household appliances. Warren discovers Greg and insults him, but Frank chastises Warren for faking his camping skills. Warren then runs into Greg's trap, humiliating himself. At a motel, Frank confesses he never liked camping at all and decides not to send Greg to Spag Union, to Greg's surprise and delight. He also talks to him about learning from mistakes and taking responsibility, making them both realize they are more alike than they thought. At Heather's party a few days later, Loaded Dipper performs a hard rock cover of Baby, with Roderick on lead vocals to try to impress Heather. The performance goes awry when he accidentally knocks over a huge ice bust of Heather, causing her to try and assault him with a microphone stand, only for her to smash a chocolate fountain, ending the party in disaster. Holly holds Greg's hand, and they both spend the rest of their summer together with Rolly. Greg remarks that he may look back on it as the best summer ever.